Today I'm cooking at Mom's and we're making tabbouleh. To begin with, we are taking some parsley that has been picked off the stem. It has been cleaned first, I should say. And then we've picked it off the stem and dried it really, really well. If you don't dry it well and you put it in the food processor like this, it will turn black. So you want to pulse it until you get finely chopped parsley, or you could do it by hand, but why would you? Get all that parsley out of the bowl and begin cutting tomatoes, and we use Roma tomatoes for this. And I like to think of it as pico de gallo size, so the same size that I would cut tomatoes for salsa. So basically small pieces. And you want to put the tomatoes in a strainer that's sitting over a bowl so that the liquid from the tomatoes drains into the bowl, because that's the liquid we're going to use to moisten the bulgur wheat. So let that sit. That's going to take about a half hour to get that liquid. Now I'm going to cut some onion. Now traditionally green onion is used, but we didn't have a lot of green onion. There's some in this tabbouleh, but we needed a little more onion. So I'm just finely chopping some white onion. And now I'm going to add that bulgur wheat into the bowl, and I'm going to give it a good mix. And bulgur wheat is found in most grocery stores now. You can find it on the internet, and a lot of Middle Eastern stores obviously will carry it as well. So we are trying to plump up that wheat because right now it's very crunchy and not very desirable. So usually people add water to it and then squeeze the water out. But if you really want it flavorful, you add the lemon juice and the tomato juice to it. So now I'm going to put some fresh mint leaves in the bowl of the food processor and do the same thing that we did with the mint. We just want to finely chop without having to do it by hand, or you can do it by hand. A neat trick about mint, if you start at the top of a stem of mint and you drag your fingers down, most of the leaves come off. It's pretty cool. So we want to finely chop those. Same thing, make sure they're super dry, because if they're wet, then the mint easily turns black. You could also use dried mint, and in that case you want to make sure that you crush it in between the palms of your hands so that you get very fine dried mint. Now it's time to put everything together. So we're going to add the mint in with the parsley, and followed by the diced tomatoes, onions, and now we're going to season it. And for the seasoning, it's very simple. It's salt and freshly ground pepper. And you really need to do this to taste. So I would add salt and pepper first, starting with the quantity listed in the recipe, and then mix everything and taste it. Make sure that the seasoning is to your liking. So you want to be careful when you mix all this together, because you don't want the tomatoes to break up and get too mushy. So basically you're folding it. We're going to add some olive oil. So the dressing for this tabbouleh is fresh lemon juice, olive oil, and really that juice that's released from the tomatoes. Now it's time to add in the bulgur, which took about 20 minutes to absorb all that liquid. You can see there's no liquid left in the bowl. And again, we're going to carefully fold all of this together. You may want to chill this before serving it so that the flavor is really set, maybe about an hour before you're serving it, hour to 2 hours, and then taste it again before you serve it. It may need a little bit more lemon juice, but this is a super healthy salad, and it is perfect on a hot summer day when you don't want to heat up the oven. For this recipe and more, visit myclasscancook.com.